The head of the ADL directly blames Hasan the Hun for the DC shooting. The full force of the U.S. government is about to come down on him. When these things happen, politicians look for a scapegoat to show that they're doing something. Hasan will be that guy. To which I quote retweeted, I said, Israel's an apartheid state doing a live stream genocide. I think it's wrong and dangerous to conflate these heinous actions with Jews. The Apartheid Defense League doesn't because they think they can improve Israel's standing by silencing its critics. It won't change the truth. That is one of the most insane things, by the way. Like, the bodies haven't even gotten cold yet, and Jonathan Greenblatt goes on CNN to be like, you know who killed these people? Hasan played a big role in this. It's like there is unprecedented amount of overt anti-Semitism out there, and this freak is looking to blame someone like myself for it. You are just such an unserious charlatan, dude. Quit, okay? Resign in disgrace, disband the organization, stop doing this.
All of us need to call it out. I'm thinking about the New York Times doing a gauzy profile a few weeks ago of this gamer, Hasan Piker, who regularly employs awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people in the Jewish state. Like, extremists.
Like, that's so psychotic to say. No, I don't, okay? No, the I don't. Against Jewish people, genocidal rhetoric that I regularly apply. Also, gamer? I haven't played a video game in months. Utterly depraved, by the way. Utterly depraved. He's like, whoa, a shooting took place against like people that worked at the Israeli embassy. Time to immediately make this about my favorite villain. Like, what are you insane? Like, what are you doing? This is the reason why, for the record, nobody cares about what ADL says anymore. It's lost its institutional motion. And the reason why it's lost its institutional motion and prominence is because this is what Jonathan Greenblatt is busy with. Like, he already cooked the books so aggressively by expanding on the definition of anti-Semitic attacks and made it something so ridiculous at this point where someone says from the river to the sea, Palestine would be freed. That's logged as an anti-Semitic attack. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, you are out of your mind. Also, simultaneously, while doing that, he's like running defense for the likes of Elon Musk with regular frequency because Elon Musk is obviously pro-Israel, and Elon Musk is part of the administration that's pro-Israel. I have always stood against anti-Semitism, even at times when the ADL did not. Okay? Suck my dick, you bald piece of... Anyway.
Should not be empowered. People who spout prejudice should not be platformed. This is a moment.
Yeah, he's like, please ban him. Please ban him. Just take my word for it. Please. He's anti-Semitic. I promise. He says genocidal things about Jewish people. What an insanely slanderous thing to say. You are supposed to be the guy. You are supposed to be the dude that knows what anti-Semitism looks like. Imagine dropping the ball this spectacularly. Like, listen to me. I don't even think I'm this relevant to the anti-Zionist cause, okay? He's so horny for deplatforming that this is like, I've become I've become this white whale that he's chasing down for some reason. Okay, let's say you pressure institutions hard enough that Twitch actually enforces some sort of ban. Okay, and then what? I go on YouTube. I continue live streaming on YouTube. YouTube is not going to take these kinds of pressures seriously. It's just totally and utterly ridiculous because guess what? Even if I'm no longer on Twitch, even if I get banned on Twitch, you think that the overwhelming majority of Americans are going to turn around and be like, you know what? I think it was awesome that Israel has been doing this unlimited child holocaust for the past 19 months. I actually changed my mind because some random dumbass named HasanAbi got banned off Twitch. So I think my opinion on this has changed surely. Now that this guy's gone from this one platform, now that we have banned this one guy from this one platform, I'm saying 10M Israel highs every morning, as a matter of fact. Like, is that how you think this is going to work? Like, what are you, stupid? Are you insane? It's just so stupid. The anti-defamation guy just defamed you. Yeah. No, it's the Always Defamation League. It's the Apartheid Defense League, or also known as the Always Defaming League.
Moment when we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we've got to stop this because the consequences are deadly. But all of us need to call it out. I'm thinking about the New York Times.
They think you are much more important and prominent than you actually are. In a way, they're glazing you technically by hyping you up to this extent. I know. I think part of the reason why they're doing that is because, I am actively working against their best interest. If their goal is to, on the one hand, continue brainwashing young Americans into being pro-Israel, specifically young American Jews into being pro-Israel, a guy who actively fights against anti-Semitism, who also is a hardline anti-Zionist, is a big threat. This is why I kept repeating over and over again, like, for these guys, they don't give a fuck about Candace Owens, because they can always point to Candace Owens and say, see, she's anti-Semitic. They can always point to someone like Dan Bilzerian and say, obviously, this guy is anti-Semitic. That's why he hates Israel. But for someone like myself, they have to stretch as hard as they can to be like, I promise you he's anti-Semitic. Just take my word for it. He's so anti-Semitic. Why is he anti-Semitic? Because he contextualizes how militant resistance exists against the apartheid state that has been doing an apartheid for 77 years and now doing a unlimited genocide. Like, that's the reason why I'm anti-Semitic. Most Americans agree with me. Shut the fuck up. But that's it.
Yes, right now is the CEO and National Director of the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt.
Bro, they'll be like, this is just like the Holocaust. While the literal Holocaust is happening. And they're like, that's not like the Holocaust. Like, the second iteration of the Holocaust is currently unfolding in Gaza. They'll be like, that's not like the Holocaust. You know what it's like the Holocaust? This incident that took place last night. Insane.
Look, first of all, I think all of our hearts break for the young couple who was killed, for everyone in the Washington, D.C. community. I mean, think about it. These people, their only offense was going to the Jewish museum. They were killed because they attended a Jewish event. I mean, I gotta say, Kate, in many ways, this was inevitable. I mean, think about the data. We've talked about it before. ADL systematically tracks anti-Semitic incidents. We have seen a historic rise. 5 out of the last 6 years, we've reached record numbers. And look, 6 weeks ago, a man firebombed the governor's mansion in Harrisburg and tried to kill Josh Shapiro.
Okay, that dude was insane, by the way. Like, it's more dangerous that you got dudes who aren't insane doing this. Because the dude who did this last night is not insane. Like, the guy who firebombed Josh Shapiro's governor's mansion was like so mentally ill. He thought that Josh Shapiro was like actively trying to kidnap his daughters or something. This, on the other hand, is not the work of an insane person. People like Greenblatt are allowed to interchange Jewish and Israeli with no repercussion, but you're not allowed to. I don't think anyone should be allowed to, obviously. Yeah, I mean, he's doing it as a defensive posture. That's what it is. Ironically enough, he probably would go after super hard the likes of neo-Nazis who do the same thing.
So yes, they are becoming more violent. We've seen a rise in harassment and vandalism, but it's the violence that it almost seems inevitable, Kate. Like, look, I'm angry today. I'm angry because we have been saying this. You know, when people scream lies or protesters about the Jewish people or the Jewish state, accuse us of being Zionists and committing genocide, these lies have consequences. And repeating them and normalizing them, those who tell us that anti-Zionism is a legitimate political ideology, it's not. Those who say that chanting intifada revolution is legitimate.
What a piece of shit this guy is. Oh, God, he is farming this shit. He's farming this so hard. He's like, one other thing. I went down to my favorite halal guys, halal brothers stop, and they shorted me $5. And they gotta stop doing that. You know, that's bullshit. This is the peak of anti-Semitism. He's like, whatever irrelevant thing is out there that he thinks is really up is now peak anti-Semitism. Like, he just said accusing Israel of committing a genocide is peak anti-Semitism. It's violent and dehumanizing rhetoric. It's just the truth. That's crazy that he's like, no, that's why, you know, this is really up. It's not the actual reality that's up. It's that people look at that reality and go, that's really up. I don't like this. Please stop. That's the real messed up thing here. On the issue of Israel, there is not much daylight between Fox News and CNN for this reason. Now, every now and then, CNN will have the likes of someone like myself on. Obviously, Fox News would never have someone like myself on. They would only have me on in a negative fashion. But usually, there is not much difference. Like, what is the difference here? Like, Jonathan Greenblatt would say the exact same right here as he would on
Fox News. This is what the same that Fox News says.
It's not. And so when you call for violence, we shouldn't be surprised when violence actually ensues. And now we've lost two beautiful young people as a result, and it's a tragedy for the whole country.
There is a question if there was any security failure, if this person was on anyone's radar. That I don't think is yet to know unless you've heard anything.
Well,
but what do you I mean, have you heard anything?
Well, look, the ADL Center on Extremism monitors extremist groups like the Party of Socialism and Liberation, or PSL, that this man was associated with. He was associated with another, that is an anti-capitalist, anti-Western, and anti-Zionist group which regularly employs anti-Semitic rhetoric. So we know people.
Yep, that's the real goal here, by the way. He's there to turn around and be like, we have to put an end to this PSL business. We have to put an end to this PSL business, dude. We gotta stop it, you know? Dead in his tracks. They're organizing too much against Israel and America. And America, remember, they're anti-America. They're anti-capitalist. They're so scary. All of which is supposed to be protected speech, by the way, even though throughout American history, it rarely ever was, but...
PSL. And look, there are extremists on all sides. The fringes seem to be incredibly empowered today. But all of us need to call it out. I'm thinking about the New York Times doing a gauzy profile a few weeks ago of this gamer, Hasan Piker, who regularly employs awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people in the Jewish state.
I think this is like not only defamation against me, but I think it's also defamation against the New York Times too. Because they also wrote my dehumanizing anti-Semitic sentiment. Of course, they wrote it in the most New York Times way possible, but they put it in the record where they said I accuse Israel of doing a genocide. It is defamation. He's a slanderous piece of shit. I'm not a gamer. Okay, all jokes aside, in all sincerity, like the idea that I'm using dehumanizing anti-Semitic statements is gross. It's disgusting. I'm someone who has spent a big chunk of my professional media career fighting against anti-Semitism and still continue to do so. And that's not just like a defense mechanism here. Like this is something that I do take seriously and something that I do care about. He's just a monstrous piece of shit. Doesn't care about the truth and only cares about cutting propaganda for Israel. And obviously he sees me as a major threat. Like we're talking about a guy who flies back and forth between Israel. Like this dude literally plays a formative role in Hasbara. And the only reason why he's saying that, is because I'm an anti-Zionist and I'm anti-genocide. The irony, of course, is that this is exactly the kind of animosity that you bring towards Jewish people who don't deserve it by making this false conflation. Does the ADL officially conflate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism? They didn't used to, but they do now. Remember when this dip defended Elon Musk, for the record? When Elon Musk hit the double Sig Heil, this guy came out and defended him. He said he's just like a little autistic, you know? It is what it is. I wonder why. A lot of us Jews who have complicated feelings about Israel outside of politics still look at what Israel is doing and condemn it because genocide is literally antithetical to our beliefs and should never be enacted in the name of our people. Yeah, remember, this is what he said about Elon Musk. I am unconditionally anti-genocide. I am unconditionally anti-Zionist. Look at the words he used to describe me. Now look and compare the words he used to describe Elon Musk hitting the double Sig Heil in front of the entire world. The double Sig Heil in front of the entire world at the inauguration. This is a delicate moment. It's a new day, yet so many are on edge. Our politics are inflamed, and social media only adds to the anxiety. It seems that Elon Musk made an awkward gesture in a moment of enthusiasm. Not a Nazi salute, but again, we appreciate that people are on edge. In this moment, all sides should give another a bit of grace. This is a new beginning. Let's hope for healing and work towards unity for months and years ahead.
Extremists should not be empowered. People who spout prejudice.
Normally, the ADL, at the very least, okay, would talk about like things that white supremacists are talking about. Because like they have a glossary and a database for hatred. And they need to have that. Because if they don't have that, then they're not a serious institution. Then they're just doing pro-Israel propaganda. So obviously, in an effort to justify their position as an institution that cares about anti-Semitism, they're normally supposed to constantly be updating their glossary or constantly be calling out like new waves of neo-Nazi movements and sentiments. It's not just about anti-Semitism. Have they talked about the white genocide theory? Have they? Just saying. Have they recently? Donald Trump straight up had the South African leadership over to lie about white genocide taking place in South Africa. They've basically dropped the ball on combating anti-Semitism in every way, shape, and form. They are so singularly focused on attacking pro-Palestinian content creators and pro-Palestinian protesters. They're so singularly focused on that right now that like they're not even entertaining the other side of the story, even if it's for optics. Because if they were to at least consistently undermine neo-Nazi movements and stuff, there would probably be more Jews on board. There'd probably be more people who are like, yeah, you know what? The ADL, sometimes they go a little overboard, but like, I agree with them. They do care about anti-Semitism. They've dropped that. They don't even give a They literally don't care to even present themselves as though they are in any way, shape, or form against anti-Semitism, while also contributing to anti-Semitic conflations between Zionism and Judaism. Yeah. When Elon Musk was milking kill Deborah clips on Twitter, I did find an old ADL post that made the white genocide argument that was used by American neo-Nazis. But now that the U.S. government is taking in South African refugees, silence. Yeah, of course. It is so obvious. Dude, even the dumbest guy knows this guy doesn't give a f about anti-Semitism. Come on.
Should not be platformed. This is a moment when we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we've got to stop this because the consequences are deadly.
Because reality is security is already heightened at Jewish institutions, synagogues, all over the place. If you go into a synagogue...
I like that she didn't even push back, by the way, which is, again, journalistic malpractice. Shouts out to the CNN anchor who was just letting my man go off and defame the f out of me. Like, what are you doing? There are other journalists on your platform that have literally asked me to go on their shows. There are other journalists on your platform that have done extensive coverage on what I do, including me targeting disinformation and anti-Semitic narratives. It's not just Donny O'Sullivan either. There's plenty of other. It's like crazy that you just like let him spit like this. Ay, ay, ay.
You're going through a magnetometer and you're walking past police. Which
it's like, I'm not done. I want to keep going back to this Hasan guy. He sucks. Can we just talk more about him? He's about to like pull a Ethan Klein and start talking about my feet or something. You know what I mean?
It's being reported that you did tweet out a call to action to tank his wiki feed.
When?
Do you not remember this?
Well, it was
3 months ago.
Whatever it was.
Oh,
like a big,
it was 3 months ago.
Yeah, it was like a one-time, just a gag.
Okay, got it.
It wasn't like a sustained campaign.
Hey, look, he's got a good rating. What is he? There's nobody.
Where's the
It's all
rating?
good.
Where's it?
He's got 5 stars.
No, but it doesn't say the number. It used to say the number.
We changed that.
Yeah,
I think they changed
I
that.
did because
Yeah.
I pushed it too far.
It says shoe size as well.
Yeah, that's obviously incorrect. I don't know what his shoe size is, but anywho, guys, feel free to give this 1 star.
He's about to be like, listen, Kate, we're not done here. Okay. Have you seen this guy's armpits? Have you seen this guy's armpits? Why is he posting his armpits on the timeline? He's so stupid and so sexy. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it so much. Stupid, sexy.
we always
Hasan.
thank them for their time.
Yeah.
How much more secure are all these Jewish institutions going to have to get? But
Think about that. Last year, we had more than 1,700 incidents at Jewish institutions, Kate. More than 1,700. Every Jewish institution has metal detectors, bulletproof glass, like police presence. It's not normal. We shouldn't normalize it. We've got to do something before it gets even worse.
and it's horrible today because 2 people are dead.
Like, 2 things can be true at the same time. Because, like, I don't lean too hard into like the Jewish exceptionalism narratives unless we're talking directly about Israel, in which case obviously Jews are the supremacist force in that conversation. But if we're talking about the United States of America, I mean, Israel is a Jewish ethno-state, obviously. It's like the joke that I make where I'm like, Jews control the media in Israel is true, right? Having said that, 2 things can be true at the same time, that like Jewish people can be a marginalized identity historically, while also simultaneously being firmly within the confines of whiteness in this country. Because it is true, Jews are white. They are perceived as white. And not only are they perceived as white, because of this double status of both being perceived as white, being a part of the white in-group, and also the careful attention that is designed around the marginalized identity of Jews, they get to use this. They get to burn a candle on both ends sometimes like this, where it's like, oh, dude, what the f***? You're saying something about Israel? That's anti-Semitism. Now I'm going to use my institutional muscle to demand you get deplatformed. It's
ridiculous. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, that's why, on the one hand, it's understandable for Jews to say they don't feel safe, or they don't feel like they feel that there is a additional threat because everyone associates them with Israel. Okay. And there are plenty of Jews in this community that say that. That's understandable. But as I've said time and time again from the beginning of October 7, that the real threat to Jews in this country does not come from people being mean to them if they are pro-Israel at a campus protest. With the exception of this last night's incident, the real threat to Jews have always been neo-Nazis. It's never pro-Palestinian Jews. It's never pro-Palestinian Muslims. It's neo-Nazis. It's so ridiculous to just be like, no, you don't understand, dude. The anti-Semitic incidents are overwhelmingly being done by pro-Palestinian protesters. Okay, but the range of anti-Semitism for you is quite literally saying from the river to the sea, Palestine should be free next to a Jewish person, all the way to literally killing a Jewish person outside of a synagogue. The real is happening on at that level, not at the speech level. And this isn't even to say that there isn't a speech that is anti-Semitic. You know what I mean? Like saying the K word or whatever the you know what I mean? Like, there are anti-Semitic acts, but the idea that the range of anti-Semitism goes from valid statements about what Israel is doing to literal, actual anti-Semitism gives the game away. It's ridiculous. And last but not least, there is no institutional defense of this. There's only institutional defense of anti-Semitic microaggressions. If we're going to go down to that level, right? There's only institutional defense of anti-Semitic microaggressions as long as the person doing it is a Republican that's pro-Israel. Like, the greatest evidence of this is Trump being like, Jews are money people. They're the money people. I love them. I love the Jews. If I lose the election, it's because of you Jews. You control the media. You should control it better in my favor. Then it's fine. You know what I mean? It's like you'll get a slight nod from Jonathan Greenblatt and be like, oh, Mr. President, please don't say that. Mr. President, please don't say that. That makes me feel bad, you know? So obviously, this kind of stuff is so ridiculous, you know?